Okay, here we are. Hey, Captain Matt here. Thanks for joining us this week, where we're still on the hill and working on Never Say Never. Ready to get out in the water so I can get you some new footage of us underway. But we're making a little bit of progress, and this week they did get some things installed that I really wanted them to get installed. And they're making a lot of progress on the rudder shelf, and they've got the generator pulled out. So this is just a quick update to let you know how it's going on Never Say Never. Thanks for watching and stay tuned. Well, good morning everybody. Captain Matt here. It's a cloudy day, but it's a little bit warmer than it has been. It's been cold. This whole winter has been cold. We're headed up to the marina. We've got a couple of, I've got some Garmin Electronics to drop off for these guys to install for me. And we got a call a couple of days ago. They had to pull the generator out because the shelf, we've got a rudder shelf that's got to be replaced, and the shelf had a little bit more damaged wood than they thought at first. So they decided to pull the generator out, which will make it easier for them to do the repair. So I'm gonna check that out and see how it's going, and we'll get a full update on how Never Say Never is doing. I think that everything's going to be looking pretty good, and hopefully we only have about a week to go. It's taken a little bit longer to do all this work, I guess, than we thought it was going to, but I can't really complain. The weather has been awful. There's been several big fronts that blow through. There's actually another one coming, and so I don't think that I would have had a chance to, or I don't know, I could have run it down the intercoastal, but I want to go back in the ocean when we go back south. So anyway, we're just going to come up here and check on this progress, and the two new Garmin products that I got, I'm pretty excited about. One's not new, it's just been repaired, but it's an XM radio, Sirius XM radio, and what that gives me is when you're offshore, you can get weather on it, which is great. And so we'll have, you know, if we're out near the Gulf Stream or whatever, then we can check on if there's storms coming or things like that, which is nice. It's an important feature to have offshore. Plus you get XM radio. You can listen to some good tunes when you're out there, which is nice. And then the second thing I have for them to install is Garmin came out with a new GPS antenna. And the new GPS antenna, part of the problem with a GPS is that you have to be moving for it to have the absolute correct orientation on your compass. And so there's times where we're going to be sitting still, and mainly when we're looking for reefs, I'm going to be going at really, really slow speeds, or even going backwards. And what this new antenna does is it allows the boat really to know exactly where it is. And that's important when we're pinpointing reefs to drop over, when we're bottom fishing. And so I'm looking forward to having that installed. And so they'll get, plus the third thing is they're going to install I think you say it's NMEA or NEMA, I think NEMA, well, whatever the backbone is, 2000, NEMA 2000 backbone, which allows us to be able to plug lots of stuff into the Garmin. So that is all going to be really helpful, and these guys really know how to do it. I can install it, but these guys are younger and skinnier. It means they can climb into places better than I can. And for both those antennas, you got to climb way up on the roof, and I'm too old and fat to do that. So I'm looking forward to them doing it. It won't take them long at all, and they know a lot about these electronics, so we'll let them do it. It's better for them. So let's get up here and see how everything's looking. So they've got the bottom paint all done, and I think the bottom paint looks really good. I think they did a great job with the bottom paint. Now we decided, you remember, like on these things here, so we decided not to water blast it all back down smooth. I think that these little rough spots are just fine. I don't think that there's any problem at all, but they did a good job on the bottom paint. They've painted the running gear, they put our new zincs on, and then they've dropped the rudders to rebuild that rudder shelf. And you can see here, this is the generator, and they've got it out, which gave them a lot of room up there to be able to put that in. So I'm really happy with how this bottom looks. I think it all looks real nice. Okay, they've got the new screen in. All right, so that's new. They put that in. That's great to see. They've got that screen somewhere. All this looks pretty nice to me. Let's crawl up inside and see what all they've done up there. I'm looking for the new battery charger to be installed and a couple of other things like that. This is all cleaned up. They may have gotten finished with this. This all looks really good. Let's see. They just got stuff. Yeah, they've got the old one out. Let's see what the new one looks like. Let me move this stuff a minute. Battery charger. It's a big old thing, isn't it? We'll have to get the instructions to that and learn all about it. I can't tell if they got it hooked up yet or not. Surely to goodness they have. My new spotlight that they've installed. That's the old one. Wayne may want to put that on his boat. We may put it on string of pearls. Let's see how it's looking back here. All right. So they don't have that built yet. That's the rudder shelf over there that is fine. And this is, yeah, they've already cut out all the bad wood. And now they're just going to rebuild all this stuff. Yeah, there's a big bilge pump there. They've got to reinstall that. Right there is where the old rudder shelf was that they're going to be replacing. It goes right back in there, and that strainer attaches to it. Those are the power cables that come off the generator. Some breakers. It's actually 2 bilge pumps back here. Man, that one's a booger to get to if you ever have to fix it. I ended up talking to the marina about this, and we're actually going to move one of the float switches up forward a little bit so it'll still pick up the water, but if it breaks, it won't be impossible to fix like it is right now. I may have already, no, I don't know. We also talked about how they're going to paint all this and get all this nice and clean. So hopefully the next time you see it, this area is going to look a whole lot better. They've definitely got all the bad wood out. You hear all that wind. When Steve called me last week, he said that all of that wood they thought was bad, and we were going to have to cut all of that out and replace that whole shelf that goes across there. Yeah, they'll get it Fortunately, in just a few minutes, he told me that everything was okay, and they didn't need to do that. Okay. All right, so I'm pretty happy with the progress that they're making. Now I'm just going to set these Garmin things inside here, and I'll go talk to Steve real quick. Okay, I think that went really well. I really like those guys up there, Steve, and then I talked to the primary. Steve's the yard manager, and then the primary guy that's doing the work's named Mark. And I just spent a bunch of time with him. He's a real peach. They've done a lot of stuff. We've replaced some bus bars that had gotten some corrosion on them. They went ahead and installed the searchlight for me. They're going to install those new Garmin antennas on there, and we talked about the best place to install those. And then he had noticed, and I had noticed too, that there's been a lot of condensation down in that in the engine room, and I noticed that as well. And so they've got a little heater that when it's on shore power will come on, and it'll help keep that area warm. And in the winter time, and I imagine we'll have a breaker for it where we can turn it off in the summertime, but in the winter time it'll help keep that space dry. And I've noticed too that can be a lot of condensation in there, so that'll be good. And let's see what else. We talked about how they're going to replace that shelf. They've got the generator out, so we're going to get a lot of stuff done, figured out. It's probably another couple of weeks before we're ready to go back in the water to finish up everything. And so, you know, we'll be good. I can't wait to get that boat back in the water. I don't have so worried about next week because I think the weather is going to be crappy anyway. But it'll be nice. Hopefully in 2 weeks we can have that boat back in the water. That'd be good. Okay, so good trip up there today, well worth it. And now we're headed back down to St. Simon. So we'll send you another update here pretty soon. See you later.